Cowell of Nightwatch of ABC, and Linda Ellerby and Bill Schechner of Overnight from NBC. So glad to be back with you and to have you here. One thing that we should get into, some of the questions that people would like to ask us and don't get a chance to, the real people kinds of questions, like how do you survive these hours? How have these hours affected all of your lives? Linda first, maybe.
What life? These hours are just fine. The only problem with the hours is that the rest of the world refuses to keep them. So it's very difficult. I have 2 teenage children, and I get up to see them off to school and go back to sleep in shifts, and social life just sort of disappears.
Remember your friends? Remember the day people?
Who?
Right. What about you, Bill?
Well, I'm intrigued by the question because the people who are watching it know what it's like.
Absolutely.
And it's hard. It's been hard on my family. I don't see them as much as I would like. I don't get to see my friends. I don't get to see theater. I don't get to see as many movies as I'd like because I find that I just can't manage to do that kind of stuff during the afternoon. On the other hand, I bet you that there are a lot of people who would love to have my problems and probably my paycheck,
so
too.
So dare not complain. Ted, I heard that you think this is an improvement on your old schedules when you were a correspondent.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just thinking when you asked the question about this great movie, I think it was called The Long Arm of the Law with Peter Sellers years ago, and he played the part of a fellow who got into trouble with the law, and he'd been in jail for about 3 years, and his wife came to see him and was terribly pregnant. And he said, you know, how is that possible? And she said, oh, you wrote some lovely letters. And I sometimes think that, you know, if I'd been doing this shift, you know, 12, 14, 16, 18 years ago, I wouldn't have the 4 kids I've got right now. But it is an improvement because I used to travel a great deal. I was a foreign correspondent, and there were times in my life when I was gone for 8, 9 months out of the year. I was in Vietnam once for a year straight, and saw my family, you know, literally every couple of months when they'd let me fly up to Hong Kong on R&R.
Well, having breakfast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon has certainly changed my life. But I'm wondering if it makes a difference whether or not you're single or married. I've made a quick, informal poll myself, and it seems that all of the male anchors in late-night network television are married, and all of the females are single. What should we make of this?
I think it shows that we've been more selective in picking our mates, for one thing.
What?
But no, there's another point to be made. I sometimes wonder, Carl Bernstein's become a good friend of mine over the years, and I sometimes wonder if Richard Nixon might not still be president today if Woodward and Bernstein, you know, had been married. I mean, can you imagine Woodward saying to his wife, I'm going to meet someone in this garage and it's 2 o'clock in the morning? I don't think that story ever would have been broken.
If you're married to a news person, you just learn to understand. Linda, do you think that it takes a certain personality to be a host of a late-night show? I'm talking style maybe here. People have said that your style, for example, really stands out, and that maybe it stands out to the point that it wouldn't fit in earlier hours. You, of course, disagree.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I find that a kind of funny question. It's not as though I began work with this show. I've been with the network 9 years now. And my style has not appreciably changed, and my attitude hasn't gotten appreciably better in 9 years. The problem is you're just seeing a lot more of it now. But I'd be perfectly willing to switch with Tom Brokaw for a week, and we could find out.
What do you think, Ted? Certainly none of us started here, but some people who don't do this have made that comment, that maybe it takes a certain personality to work these hours to attract a late-night audience.
Well, I don't
Aside from the journalistic attributes.
I've got to tell you, I don't think that any one of us would have been selected by the experts as becoming an anchor of any kind, late night, early morning, early evening. And all it says is that experts, more often than not, are wrong. At least I hope that's what it means. Maybe they're dead right.
Well, let's hope they're all wrong. On that, we'll have to wrap. And thank you very much for being with us to celebrate our first birthday.
Happy birthday.
Good luck to all of us. Thank you.